Hello, Arushi Gupta. Welcome to the first episode of the Solopreneurs podcast. And you are our first guest, and this is our first podcast. And I'm sure there's going to be lot of intense discussion as well. And you'll get to know your journey much better by you. So I'd like you to introduce yourself to our audience first. Over to you now.
Hi, thank you for having me here, first of all. And I'm glad that I got this opportunity to actually talk about my journey. It will help me reflect back as it did when I went through your website and like your page. So I'd love to help people. And okay, about me, I'm Arushi and I'm an illustrator and visual artist. I do freelance illustration books and work, editorial books, whatever illustration work from home. And I do films, set decoration work, on set dressing on like second half of the year, you can say. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's a balance between the two things. Creative fields, yet one is at home and one is on feet, a lot of traveling and stuff. So yeah, for me, it's a good balance that I'm ahead with. Yeah, so that's basically me.
Fair enough. So before getting into your journey, let's make your audience more aware about what art and illustration or visual artist does. What is your job exactly?
So my job is basically storytelling through different media. It's when it comes down to paper, it's all the visuals that I create and how they are able to communicate a story that's written by somebody else or me, or just to put forward words or put forward a whole idea as a visual is what I do. So it's easy to communicate with people if they are able to connect with it. It helps them understand the story or the experience, the feeling better. Yeah, so that's basically what illustration is, or any creative field is. But yeah, illustration is putting it on paper or like making it visual for people to see.
So a visual form of storytelling is what you're into, in a more simpler words.
Basically.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds very fun job to me now. I'm not very familiar with art and illustration myself, and that's the first time I'm experiencing the definition of it. It sounds quite fun to work on it. So let's get into it. How you even got into art and illustration? What got you into it?
So when I was in school, I was aspiring to become a doctor, and I took biology. And to have a free subject, I took fine arts on the side. But it ended up being the main subject, and I started spending the whole school hours in the fine arts room and missed all the other classes. Ended up giving PMT and all the design colleges because I was unaware of how everything works. So I just gave all the exams. Got through more of design colleges than medical stuff. So decided to go to a better college rather than just going to any college in medical field. Got through Srishti. Srishti opened up a lot of possibilities for me because that is a college where it's very unorthodox. I'd say like our first week was called disorientation, where they said forget about what you know from school, don't think about what you already know or what you've learned. It's all new. It's a new world. It's a new place to explore. And I was like, okay, this is very interesting. And then it just kept on happening, and I realized I was interested in how the visuals come across and how I'm able to tell different stories, how I'm able to reflect on different bits of my life and my journey. That took me to pursuing with illustration as a master's degree. So I went to London, did a master's degree there in illustration. It's from the University of the Arts, London. And yeah, there I didn't actually do a lot of work as such, only like Indian freelance projects, but I was trying to just work on my master's there and do more of part-time jobs, which helped me understand the culture better, which helped me understand the people better. So yeah, that, and then I came back to India, uh, then started doing more freelance work. So yeah, but after I think Srishti, I started getting a lot of freelance projects that I could do from home. So yeah, that's basic. And
So
when COVID hit, it didn't actually nothing happened. Just like that.
So going back to your 12th, when you chose afterwards, when you gave your multiple exams in PMT as well as design, what was your family's reaction when you chose designing over medical field? Like being from an Indian families, I assume it is very questionable for all the family members or parents itself to go to a designing institute while having a PMT exam. So what was your family's reaction?
I wasn't exactly a very studious person.
Okay.
So nobody had any expectations from me, but I managed to get 91%. And still they were like, oh, that's not true. You couldn't have possibly gotten that much. And I was like, okay, but you can come check if your name, my name in it. They're like, yeah, it's fine. It's good. And then I was like, but I enjoy the other things better. And my parents are doctors. So that's what is inspired me to become a doctor. I think it's their personality and it's their being around me that where I made this image in my head, okay, becoming a doctor is what will make me like them. I think all of us like aspire our parents like that.
True.
Most people like that. But it's their personality and how they are around me that made me want to become a doctor. So I realized that I can't be spending 5 years studying, which is not my forte. And if I enjoy art so much more than it, why not do something in that field? And my parents initially, or as I said, they did not expect too much from me. So they were like, okay, do whatever you want to do, whatever you're capable of. I said, okay, fine, let's try this. Yeah.
So things worked out in your favor from initial days then.
Yeah, initially being a very bad student all my life.
Makes sense. So after your graduation from Srishti, you mentioned you started getting the freelance project. So how was it? Like how you got your first freelance project then?
So in Srishti, everybody was doing like a lot of my friends started freelancing, and I was applying for freelance work. So through LinkedIn, through different websites, I was telling people, oh, give me work or give me internships. But obviously, I think at that time people didn't want to pay as much, so I did a lot of free work for them, and so that's how it started, where I worked, but I wasn't paid for it. I wasn't appreciated for it. It's just work done. And then in third year, I got some people who said, okay, we'll pay you a little bit. I said, okay, that's also fine. Let's start with that. But fourth year, when I did my exhibition in Srishti, which is like the last exhibition that happens after our fourth year, people come to the exhibition, they notice work and they look at what we have done. There, people came in from the industry who were able to actually understand my process and the work that I've done. And they contacted me to give me work. My whole perspective that time was to go for my master's. So I wasn't actually, going looking for work as such. But I did all these projects in the time between, which was nice, which opened up a lot of possibilities for me post that. Yeah, that's how I started getting work, mostly my exhibition. And when I finished my master's and then I started looking for work, that was the actual challenge, because I didn't have anything, nobody to contact to, and everybody was like, oh, we don't have work right now, our industries are shut. I was like, okay, that's difficult. So I basically, that time, I started focusing on myself, my work, what I can make myself. There are challenges that I can do. There are things that I can create, my ideas that I can explore. So while doing that, I started writing 10 emails a day. So it can be whosoever I wanted to approach. It was whoever posted a job. I just wrote an email saying, "Oh, I'm looking for a job. Please." 1 in 100 replied, or they were like 99 rejections. But that was okay. It was just I wanted to give that half an hour every day to put myself in the world, and that's what I think is very important. During that process, I also learned that being underconfident or overconfident about work, what we do, is a big challenge that comes in a way that sometimes I felt I wasn't good enough. Sometimes I felt I'm amazing at it and I can't do shitty jobs. But yeah, it was a good learning in that time of my life when I was focusing on just putting myself out in whatever way I can. And yeah, make use of my time.
So what's your take on free working for free as an artist in the initial days? Like, does it help, or people should just avoid it, or they should do it for the sake of building their portfolio or exposure? What's your take on it?
So I still practice this where if a client approaches me, I do initial bits for them for free. And if they like it, I ask for money for the rest of the work that I've done. So if they don't like it, they can leave. And I'm really, like I tell them, I'm grateful that you came to me and thank you. Yeah. So if you are starting and you feel like if you should or you shouldn't take up a project, if it's a very good project, take it up. No questions asked. If it's a free project but it's not, it's not benefiting you in any way, if it's, say, making Instagram posts for a random new company and they are making you work for free, I don't think they have the money or the right approach. Like, people came to me and they were like, okay, we'll give you 50% of whatever we earn when we publish. And I was like, no, you pay me on a project basis, and that's what I want to be affiliated with. I can't wait for you to go ahead with it, print it, produce whatever, and then send me the 50% of what you gave me. So there will be people who will come to you for free work because you are a student and you are not aware of the society around you. But I think asking for money is not a bad thing, and you should be able to understand your worth in the society, your time that you're spending on something. It will give you learning experience, so you can start with no money for the initial bit of a project, but then shift to the amount that you want to charge for it. It's not a lot initially, obviously, but as you grow, as you understand, as you have better clients, you'll understand how and when you need to increase the amount or ask for how much ever you think the time that you're spending on it works. That's how I work. Basically, the time I spend on a project is the money that I ask for. Yeah.
That's a great advice, I guess. If you could prove your worth by giving something for free in first hand, and client automatically sees the value and they are not afraid to pay you the amount you're asking for. That's brilliant. So, talking about your
And
projects.
sorry.
Yeah, please go on.
No, like I was saying that with clients, sometimes it doesn't work out in terms of they're not looking for what you have to offer them. And that shouldn't make you feel sad about it, because it's not your work, it's just their perspective to what they are looking for compared to your perspective of how you look at things. So because it disheartens you that, okay, I did so much work and I'm not good at it, or blah, 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 but you are and you can do it. It's just, it's not in sync with what the other person is looking for. And that's an important thing to understand for us as the newbies or the freelancers who have to actually deal with all the feedback and criticism about the work.
So basically creating your own benchmark first, I guess understanding what you like first and then approaching the right client, I guess, that would actually like your work as well. That's what you meant, right?
No, so you understand your benchmark as in when you work with people. You won't, like, I never found it myself. I like to explore with different medias, different artworks, different topics, different everything. Like, there's always a new project ahead of me. So I keep myself open with that, and I don't have a benchmark because that becomes very competitive and there's always ups and downs. But my competition is with myself. So if I'm better than yesterday, then I'm working fine. It's okay to be able to, just do a little bit more than how I was able to do yesterday. But there's no benchmark you have to set for yourself before you approach the client. You set it along your journey. You set with when you meet people, when you understand their perspective and your perspective. Because obviously, if a 50-year-old person is coming to you, they'll have a very different outlook towards what you see right now. And they might not just get adapted to your understanding of the world, but eventually you will come close to what the clients that you really want. So, yeah.
Makes sense. So you mentioned in our earlier conversation that you got in some good projects like some movies and stuff. So how you approached them, like how you got to that level that you were confident enough to go to the bigger projects?
So I think that's to do with visualization, if anybody knows about it. I am a very big Bollywood fan, and film movies actually, I'd not say only Bollywood, but initially it was only Bollywood. Anyway, so I did a lot of craft, I used to cut papers of all the actors and the sets and everything, and I made journals and journals out of them. And okay, one day, I'll be able to become a part of it. So I think that's to do with that visualization that I did unknowingly as a child. But so when I was in London, I was approached, one of my friends said that, okay, Bollywood is looking for an intern. And I was like, okay, let's see if I can figure my time around it. And I contacted them. They said they needed help with basic stuff, buying stuff and arranging things. I said, yeah, I can manage my time around that. So that's how I got to know the art director. And she was really nice and she helped me out with more things. So I'd say once I got in contact with her, my journey started like that. So in this case, I'd say being aware of what's put out online or in the society is something that we need to be aware of. So, what's happening around you. So if, say, I was in Bangalore and there were murals that were painted in Bangalore and I am aware of it, I can go approach it. If I am not aware of it, I'll never get into it. So that awareness would come into existence where you got to be on your feet in terms of what's happening around you and how you can be a part of that thing that's happening around you. Because initially you don't have the capital to actually start your own thing or, just do your own projects without understanding the logistics behind it. But you do have the opportunity to be aware of who's doing similar work and just approach them.
I was about to ask, how are you so confident about the work? Like sometimes you get an opportunity, but you're not that confident कि यार मैं कर पाऊंगा कि नहीं. So I'm amazed, but you somehow answered it in the second part. When you are more aware about what's happening, what you're doing, I guess the confidence automatically comes, right?
Yeah, also I follow this one saying called Just Do It. It's a Shia LaBeouf's recording. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
But it just says just do it. And when an opportunity knocks, I just do it. I just say, I'll do it. I'll try it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does, that's amazing. So saying yes to everything is very important when you're a newbie. It might not work. It'll mostly not work, but you should do it. Like you should just not think too much about it and do it. When you have the opportunity to choose, that's the time when you decide if you want to do or not do something. That's like now I can tell clients, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't have time. I don't want to do it for what you're looking like, whatever, like it doesn't match. But initially I did whatever. So I never said no to anything. It was sometimes like when you say no, how you said it's because of lack of confidence, or it's because you think you're overconfident and you think that that's not worth your time and energy. Yeah, just like creating that balance of not being too overconfident or being not at all confident will take you nowhere, will take you somewhere. Like not being on the extremes will take you somewhere.
Yeah, there's a saying, the opportunity which you don't even see is capable enough to take you to the level that you already want to be.
Yeah.
That was the opportunity that you undervalue. This project won't take me anywhere. This is not worth my time and effort. But that could be the project that could make you go there. So talking about the manifestation and visualization, I am into it like with my whole heart. So do you follow it right in present days as well, or it was just unknowingly you did it once?
I got to know about it now. That time I did it for fun. I didn't know the terms. I didn't know how it functions, nothing. But I did it for fun, whatever. Now I understand the importance of it. Now I understand that being grateful is something that has changed how I look at things. If so this project came to me and this lady was like, okay, can you make a children's book? I was like, okay. Then I did some 2-3 spreads and she was like, I'm sorry, I really can't go ahead with it. You know, your work is not matching what I'm looking for. And she was nice enough. She wasn't rude as such, but she said, no, we can't take it forward. And I'd already given a week or so on it. But somehow gratitude has changed me enough to just tell her that it's okay and thank you so much for the opportunity. And I'm looking forward if you have something else to offer later in life, whatever. And all the best with your work. So that somehow changed her perspective towards me. And I know if something later comes up where she needs help, where she's looking at my work, she might approach back to me. But this whole idea of just being grateful and understanding that there is your journey and there is the other person's journey that's going on, it entangles for that bit of a moment. You don't know what's happening in their life, and I feel it becomes very important for you to be kind and humble at that moment when the other person is maybe being very rude to you, but if you're nice to them, it'll make their day a little bit better and your image a little bit better. You'll feel a little bit better in terms of making the other person feel a certain way. It all like I'm a little bit spiritual, and I see things thoda, how the universe functions and just contacting. So yeah, how you said, visualization is something that I practice, and it comes with along with gratitude. So practicing gratitude is helping me visualize, because the main thing is you need to know what you want when you visualize. I don't know what I want, so it becomes very difficult for me to visualize the future. But I still focus on, okay, now I want this, now I want that. It's always all over the place. But I keep writing it down, so let's see where it takes me. I'm a little bit explorative like that. I don't have plans for the future, or I don't see myself somewhere. But it'll all turn out to be nice, and I'll have positive challenges is what I look forward to. Solving good problems is what I look forward to.
Sounds amazing. I'm so happy right now, like connecting with the person who have a similar says on the spiritual and the universe. Like, we are definitely going to have a conversation on it on the later half, or probably in a dedicated podcast for it, on the spiritual part of how things work. But coming back to your journey now, so what's the best moment for you in your whole freelance journey that you were very confident that this is what I wanted to do, and that's the moment I'm living right now? Like, what's the happiest and the best moment for you in the whole journey?
So I always wanted to create a balance in my life in terms of my mental, physical being and my work. And that's something I used to not do initially, where there were notes written outside my door while my friends saying, okay, sleep on time, eat on time. And I'm like, okay, that's and I used to be very adamant about it. Like, yeah, it's my time and my food, so I am sleeping on time, but that's my time. And they were like, okay, whatever, but just like take care of yourself. Like, I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But now I understand as I'm growing old, I think. But yeah, I understand that having a routine or balancing your mental, emotional, physical being along with work is what is very important as a freelancer, as an individual, I'd say. When work hits, you tend to forget about everything else. That was, I think, last week when I wasn't able to do anything else. Just wake up, work, sleep, eat when my mother gives it to me. Otherwise, no. So that also happens, but I lost on a lot of things: my physical health, my mental well-being, my emotional well-being. So that's what I'm able to balance right now. When I know if I am giving a certain time to work, I also need to give a certain time to myself, be it working out, eating right. So yeah, that was something that I looked forward to, and I'm able to understand it now and practice it now. It becomes important to balance the two things out, because obviously when there's work you forget about everything else. But it's very important to remind yourself that you need to read a little bit, you need to meditate a little bit, calm down, and then restart. It's fine. So yeah, that's something I've achieved, I think.